Chapter 28, Southward Bound. The morning mist lingered over the water as Emma prepared to cast off from her mooring near Audlem. The air was cool, carrying the scent of damp earth and the faint aroma of wood smoke from a distant chimney. The gentle chug of Serendipity's engine hummed beneath her feet as she stepped onto the stern, untying the mooring ropes with practiced ease. A new day, a new stretch of canal, another step closer to London. The sun was barely cresting the horizon when she eased Serendipity forward, her wake sending soft ripples across the mirror-like surface. The Shropshire Union Canal stretched ahead in its quiet beauty, bordered by hedgerows and rolling fields. It was one of Thomas Telford's masterpieces, its broad and straight design allowing for an easy cruise, but it still held its own share of charm. Historic bridges arching over the water, red brick cottages nestled among the trees, and the occasional farm animal watching from the fields. As Emma settled into a steady pace, she let her mind wander. She had grown used to this solitude, finding comfort in the steady rhythm of the journey. There was a peace to be found in the movement, a satisfaction in knowing she was moving forward, even when she wasn't entirely sure what lay ahead. The flight of 15 locks at Audlem was a challenge, but one Emma was ready for. The first lock loomed ahead, its wooden gates weathered but sturdy. She slowed Serendipity and stepped onto the towpath, windlass in hand, ready for the slow process of raising the boat through each chamber. Halfway through the flight, she caught up with another boater, a cheerful woman named Liz, who was navigating solo just as Emma was. They exchanged pleasantries as they worked together, making the process smoother with shared effort. Liz had been living aboard for years and had a wealth of stories about the different waterways she had travelled. "Where are you heading?" Liz asked as she helped push a gate open. "South. Eventually London," Emma replied, watching as Serendipity gently ascended in the lock chamber. "Long journey ahead then, but a good one," Liz smiled. "You'll love Braunston when you get to it. A real crossroads of the waterways." Emma made a mental note. She had heard of Braunston, the heart of the canal network, a place where paths intertwined and stories converged. As they reached the top of the Audlem flight, they moored for a brief tea break, enjoying the morning sunshine before going their separate ways. Emma watched Liz's boat disappear around the next bend, feeling grateful for the brief companionship. By midday, Emma had settled back into her journey, passing through the countryside towards Market Drayton. The town, with its black and white timbered buildings, offered a chance to restock supplies and enjoy a warm meal. She moored just before Tirely Locks and took a short walk into the bustling market town. She found a small grocer's near the high street and picked up fresh vegetables, eggs, and a loaf of crusty bread. The shopkeeper, a friendly older man, struck up a conversation about the canals, reminiscing about his childhood when working boats was still a common sight. "Used to see him all the time carrying coal, grain, even pottery from Stoke," he said. "Different world back then." Emma smiled, tucking her purchases into her canvas bag. "Feels like the past lingers on the waterways, though. It's still alive, just in a different way." He nodded in agreement. "That's the magic of it. Safe travels, miss." Back on board, she brewed a fresh mug of tea and took a moment to sit on the stern, watching the world go by. Market Drayton had been a pleasant stop, but the canal was calling her onward. As dusk approached, Emma moored in a quiet stretch of countryside, the last light of the day casting long shadows over the water. The air was cool but pleasant, the distant sound of an owl echoing through the trees. She lit her cabin stove, filling the small space with a comforting warmth. Sitting by the window, she wrote in her journal, reflecting on the day's journey, the locks, the brief friendships, the simple joys of boating life. Before turning in for the night, she stepped outside onto the towpath. The sky stretched above her, a canvas of stars shimmering in the crisp night air. She took a deep breath, feeling the vastness of the world around her and the quiet certainty that she was exactly where she was meant to be. Tomorrow the journey would continue, but for now she let herself savor the stillness, the water whispering beneath the moonlight, carrying her ever onward.